What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It's HorrorFan34, and welcome back to another video. And welcome to day 3 of the 31 Days of Horror Challenge in October. So far, so good. Doing pretty good on the first 2 reviews of Q the Winged Serpent and Hangman. Now that we are on day 3 of the 31 Days of Horror Challenge, I figured I'd talk about another really underrated gem that I love. It's a vampire movie, and if you can tell by the title what the review is going to be on, it's a film I wanted to talk about for quite a while, and that is John Carpenter's Vampires. Prepare for the dawn. Of course, this is the new Scream Factory Blu-ray. This is a really good release from Scream Factory. I will say that before I get onto the film itself. You have a brand new interview with John Carpenter, a brand new interview with James Woods, which is cool. James Woods has a lot of really fun stories about the making of the movie. Says this is one of his favorite characters he's ever played, Jack Crow. You have a brand new interview with Thomas Ian Griffith and Tim Guinee, who played the priest. You also have a new interview with the cinematographer and Greg Nicotero, who was the makeup effects. You also have the old commentary from the DVD with John Carpenter, the original making of, trailer, things like that. Really solid release from Scream Factory, really nice Blu-ray. Of course, this is the poster that I'm sure everybody is familiar with, is this one. But, I mean, now, getting onto the film itself, I mean, John Carpenter, now I was thinking about it more and more. John Carpenter is my all-time favorite horror director. He really is. I mean, I love Wes Craven. He's probably my second favorite, but he's really close behind. But John Carpenter is easily my favorite horror director. I mean, John Carpenter as a director rarely ever made a bad movie, and I really wish he would come back and do another movie and things like that. But what's the sad thing about John Carpenter is that a lot of his films were not hits, which is sad. Thankfully, though, like nowadays, a lot of his films have a big following. But when I go through Carpenter's career, I mean, I love the TV movie Elvis that he did with Kurt Russell. First time that him and Kurt Russell worked together before Escape from New York and The Thing and all that stuff. But I love the Elvis miniseries that he did. After that was Halloween. Halloween was before that, sorry. And before that was Assault on Precinct 13. But Assault on Precinct 13 is great. Halloween's great. I love the Elvis miniseries that he did. The Fog is great. I love The Thing that he did. I love The Thing. Escape from New York is great. Starman I really do enjoy. I also really enjoy... what are some other ones I'm missing? I mean, Christine, that's a good one as well. They Live's great. Prince of Darkness is great. Big Trouble in Little China is my favorite John Carpenter film. I love the stuff he did, too, in the 90s. I think Village of the Damned is underrated. I really love this one. And things like that. So John Carpenter really has made a lot of really good stuff. And I think this is one of his more underrated. Also, In the Mouth of Madness. That's another good one, too. But Vampires, I'd probably say it's probably this or In the Mouth of Madness for me is Carpenter's most underrated movie. Because I love the character of Jack Crow, played by James Woods, and I'm a big fan of James Woods as an actor. I adore James Woods as an actor. I love his work as an actor. I mean, he's my favorite actor of all time. I love Cop. That's my favorite movie of his that he did. Love this film, Videodrome, The Hard Way, other ones that he did that I'm trying to think of. John Q, he was really good in as well. The General's Daughter. So James Woods has been in a lot of really good stuff as well. And this is easily, I think this is probably my second favorite film of his. And then Videodrome would be third, and then Cop's number 1. But basically the idea is that you have James Woods as Jack Crow, who is a vampire hunter who works with this team of vampire hunters and his whole team gets killed by this guy named what's his name? It's right on the back. Jack Volek. No, wait. Vampire Volek, played by Thomas Ian Griffith. Terry Silver from Karate Kid 3 is the villain in this, and the only survivors of the team are James Woods and his partner Montoya, played by Daniel Baldwin. And basically, it's James Woods and Daniel Baldwin. James Woods wants revenge for what Master Volek did to his team and things like that, and he goes down to kill Master Volek. I mean, and that's pretty much what it is. Now, I mean, what I love about this film and what really drew Carpenter to direct this movie was it really does it really has a great Western feel. And I know that was one the thing that John Carpenter, it got him attracted to directing this, because John Carpenter is a big Western guy. So it was a pretty cool feel of like a horror and like a Western with vampires. It's a really cool concept when it comes to this. And I know the original idea for this film, before John Carpenter came on board with James Woods and all that stuff, before this it was going to be directed by Russell Mulcahy, who did Highlander, among other stuff as well. And the Jack Crow character was going to be played by Dolph Lundgren, which would have been really, really interesting to see. I mean, Dolph Lundgren would have been really cool as the Jack Crow character, but at the same time, though, I really do love the way James Woods plays Jack Crow. And James Woods, when I was reading up some trivia about the film, really enjoyed working with John Carpenter and things like that. Really had a great time working on the film. John Carpenter, vice versa, had a great time working with James Woods. And I read out some more trivia that James Woods really improvised a lot of his lines. And I tell you, that's the really one good thing with James Woods as an actor. He really is really good at improvising a lot of lines. I mean, you saw what he did with Hades, when he voiced Hades in Hercules. I mean, he improvised a lot of stuff like that. And I mean, just some of the lines of dialogue that James Woods says, like he's like, let me ask you a question. After 600 years, how's that dick holding up for you? Pretty good? And then there's even a point where he's talking to the priest, played by Tim Guinea, and he says, let me ask you something, Padre. When you were stabbing that vampire in there, right? Did you get some good wood in there? So, I mean, there's some of the lines that James Woods says that comes out of his mouth is just so entertaining. And that was, like, all improvised by him and things like that, which I think is pretty cool. The James Woods as Jack Crow is fantastic. He's easily the best character in the movie. You got some really great gore, really well-done gore effects. I love the way that the vampires are killed. Really, all practical effects. No CGI. It's all practical, well-done special effects. I think it has like I said, a really great feel of a Western, which is what John Carpenter mentions on the commentary. That's what the thing that really attracted him to doing this film. Thomas Ian Griffith is a really entertaining villain. I really like him as Volek, the villain of the film. You also have Cheryl Lee, who is one of the hostages by Volek. Cheryl Lee from Twin Peaks, among other stuff as well. Daniel Baldwin, like I said, does a really good job as his partner. I mean, the film starts off with a bang, when James Woods' team gets killed in the beginning, and you have all kinds of fantastic gore effects, a lot of really good hard-hitting action, really action-packed, and things like that. I mean, the main draw to this film, the main draw that really pulls me into this film is James Woods, because I just love the Jack Crow character. It's easily one of my favorite characters that he's ever played. My favorite of his is Lloyd Hopkins in Cop, but this is my second favorite character, and then Max Wren from Videodrome. But I think it's really well directed by John Carpenter. Really good music by John Carpenter. I love James Woods. A fantastic actor, really good character in the film. You got some really nice, good gore, some really good special effects. It's definitely R-rated, so they don't hold back on the violence and things like that. And I mean, overall, this is just a really fun, entertaining vampire movie. And it's really a vampire film that not many people talk about. I mean, when people think about vampire movies, they're always going to bring up Lost Boys, which is great. They always bring up Fright Night, which is great. But not many people ever bring up vampires. And I think this is one that you have to check out. If you're a big John Carpenter fan, and if you have not seen this film before, I would highly recommend you check this out if you're a big Carpenter fan, and if you're a big James Woods fan or something like that. Definitely got to go check out Vampires. So that is pretty much it for my review for John Carpenter's Vampires. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.